There are moments in science when a discovery feels less like progress and more like a warning. This may be one of them. For decades, Voyager 1 has traveled farther into the darkness than any human-made object ever created, carrying the last faint voice of Earth into a region no human being will ever physically reach. Most people believed its story would end quietly, with a fading signal, failing systems, and eventually silence. But what if that was never the real ending? Voyager's final strange transmission may have changed everything. When researchers reportedly fed the distorted signal into Majorana 1, something unexpected began to emerge. Hidden beneath what looked like corruption was not simple mechanical failure, not random decay, and not the dying chaos of an old spacecraft. It was structure. It was logic. It looked like something buried inside the noise. At first, engineers were not alarmed. They know what failing systems look like. Damaged telemetry, unstable memory, weak transmission integrity, and distorted signals are exactly what you would expect from a probe operating nearly 50 years beyond launch. Voyager had every reason to sound broken. But the deeper researchers looked, the less random the corruption appeared. Patterns emerged inside the distortion. Timing intervals repeated with unnatural consistency. Clusters of anomalies lined up in ways that did not resemble hardware collapse. Instead of disintegrating into meaningless static, parts of the signal seemed to preserve hidden internal order. It was like finding pieces of a torn page and realizing they still form sentences when placed correctly. That was the moment the story changed. Because once the signal stopped looking broken and started looking buried, a darker possibility appeared. Voyager 1 may not have been malfunctioning at all. It may have been carrying a signal disguised as failure. That is where Majorana 1 entered the story like a key fitting a lock no one knew existed. Traditional systems usually treat corrupted data by filtering, cleaning, or discarding damaged sections. But this newer form of analysis reportedly searched for relationships inside the noise itself. And what it found was unsettling. Several patterns nested inside one another. Prime number spacing. Structured progressions. Repeating symbolic relationships that felt less like residue and more like intention. The deeper the transmission was processed, the more it resembled something designed to survive concealment. Not a message openly written across the signal. A message folded into it. As if whoever created it expected the transmission to remain unreadable for years, maybe decades, until humanity developed the right tools to uncover it. That changes the emotional weight of the discovery completely. We are no longer talking about clever signal recovery. We are talking about the possibility that the transmission was meant to remain hidden until a future generation became advanced enough to unlock it. And Voyager itself could not have created such patterns. Voyager is a marvel of engineering, but it is also a machine from another era. It was not built with adaptive intelligence, advanced symbolic processing, or any architecture capable of generating layered mathematical sequences that behave like a communication protocol. It cannot suddenly become creative. It cannot spontaneously write hidden complexity into its own signal. So if the structure did not come from Voyager, then where did it come from? That question becomes even more disturbing when connected to one of the strangest chapters of Voyager's journey. Reports of unusual behavior, signal anomalies, and unexplained observations led some to speculate that the probe may have encountered something unknown in deep space. On its own, that would already be one of the most unsettling stories in modern exploration. But once the hidden patterns were linked to those events, they stopped feeling separate. They started feeling connected. What if Voyager did not simply capture strange data after meeting something unknown? What if it became part of the exchange itself? The object would not need to wave, shout, or send dramatic beams across space. It could have done something far more sophisticated. It may have used Voyager's own outgoing systems as the carrier, subtly reshaping a transmission so it appeared corrupted until the right decoder arrived. Think about how strange that really is. Voyager may have encountered something highly advanced, received a structured response, and then carried that response all the way back toward Earth inside what everyone first assumed was meaningless distortion. Humanity may have already received the message before it even understood there was one. And if that possibility is true, then Voyager 1 was never just a probe drifting through darkness. It may have been the perfect messenger. Now the real question is no longer whether the final signal was strange. The real question is this. If Majorana 1 opened the first layer, are we ready for what the next layer might